clock. All right, let's call this meeting order of July 26, 2022. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please take the roll.
Member James Blair.
Here.
Councilmember Joseph Richardson.
Present.
Councilmember Joshua Crossman.
Here.
Councilmember Holly Smith. Here. Councilmember Brian Hess.
Here.
Councilmember Lynn Roy. Here. Councilmember Terry Kaminsky. Here. Mayor Joe DePinto.
Here. All right, can I get agenda approval?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Smith, second by Crossman. Councilmember Crossman, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Carries. All right, we do have a special presentation today. And for our employee of the year, or excuse me, employee of the quarter, doesn't look like he's here right now. Not gonna make it.
He's probably not gonna make it.
Okay, no worries. Well, we will still go ahead and read through it. This quarter, the person that City of Yelm chose as the employee of the quarter is Officer Don Moody, the Yelm Police Department. He was nominated by Chief Carlson, and he's served as a police officer for more than 18 years. He's done a lot for the city, including being Yelm School District SRO, and he's been very diligent with navigating the new laws and regulations during the school year and providing an above average service to our school district. It's quoted by the chief here. And he's proven time and time again to be a great example for other officers and city employees to follow. And I've known Officer Moody here for a long time as well, and he's always been a very pleasant and great face for the police department. So I'm glad that and honored to announce that he is our employee of the quarter for the second quarter of 2022. So thank you, Officer Moody, and I'm just going to go ahead and give this to Chief Carlson. And thank you for nominating him and having him.
Yeah, Don is, just to say real quick about him is
Watch the podium.
the first quarter for the employee of the first quarter, I nominated for that mostly because of his job in the schools. We couldn't have done what we did in the schools if it wasn't for Don. And I think the school year was probably a little challenging. And Don navigated those challenges really well, not only because of the challenges, but also with the new legislation, trying to deal with what he has to do as far as the new legislation. And he was always the go-to guy when it came to the juveniles. So in dealing with the juveniles and learning this new legislation, it just makes it navigating that a little quicker, a little harder. When Don's not in the schools, that's why I renominated him, is because I noticed when he's out, he wasn't in the schools, he now picks up a shift in patrol. And Don's been working as a police officer for 18 years, right? And he's getting up there, but he's still handling his calls. He's still making contacts like he should, pulling his weight as far as paper calls. I hear him on the radio all day, and it's appreciated by me. It's appreciated by our sergeants, but more importantly, we're a young police department, and it makes a great example to those officers that are coming in here that are on training, and they're seeing a guy like Don that's out there handling his business and doing what he's supposed to do on a consistent basis. He's making a great example for them. So that's why I nominated Don, and he's continually a great resource for us, and we're very blessed to have him work for the police department in the city of Yelm, for sure.
Any other comments on this? All right, moving on to public comment. Do we have any public comment today? We have someone in the audience. Would you like to say anything, sir?
I'm just a visitor. I was just telling the chief, I came to a couple of meetings before the lockdown on homeless, and I've been to another couple of meetings. I don't have anything to suggest. I've lived out here for 32 years and decided I'm going to stay here. I'm almost 80 now, and depending on how long, if I follow my family, I'm gonna be around longer than a lot of people want, so we're
Glad to have you here at this meeting and, thank you, sir. All righty, well, can we move on to item number 5, the consent agenda? Includes the July 12th, 2022 regular meeting minutes, as well as a final plat for Vista at Mill Pond. Are there any questions? I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Councilmember Kaminsky, is
Approve the consent agenda.
there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Blair. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion passes. Thank you very much, council. Moving on to item number 6, new business. We have approval of the 2023-2025 agreement between Yelm Community Schools and the City of Yelm for School Resource Program. And this will allow myself as mayor to sign the agreement between Yelm Community Schools and the City of Yelm for this School Resource Program. Chief, do you want to go ahead and discuss and give us a briefing on it?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, Council. This is an agreement between the Yelm School District and the City of Yelm for 2023-2025, the School Resource Agreement, School Resource Officer Agreement. This agreement has always been something that ensures a safe and secure learning environment for our youth and community. The schools have asked that we provide them with 3 officers during this 3-year timeframe, which again, we've talked about in the study session that it does nothing but improves our relationship with the school district and enhances that trust and transparency with the youth and our community, because it does spill out to our community. It doesn't just stop in the schools. So I think it's an important contract that we get involved with. And it's just asking to get approval for Mayor DePinto to sign that 2023-2025 agreement.
Any questions from council? Councilor Blair?
Do we currently have 3 officers, or are we gonna have to hire?
We're going to have to hire more officers to get to that point. At our current staffing level that we're budgeted for, we'd be able to give them 2. We just need to add to that to be able to fulfill that agreement. I've had communication with the schools. They totally understand. They're on board with waiting for it because they do believe that it's something that's super important. So they're going to wait for it.
Part of the agreement that's the funding for them.
Correct.
You want to briefly just go over the funding portion of it?
Yeah, so the schools have raised that up to $75,000 an officer. They've also agreed to provide 5% additional pay for each officer's pay grade or salary while they're in the school district, while they're working in the schools. So the schools they'll not only pay the $75,000, but they'll pay that 5% as well for each individual officer.
Councilor Ross?
In reference to the cost, what does it cost for our officers, for the city to have that officer? Is it, what I mean by is for 1 year, if they're getting an officer for $35,000 a year, what is the cost to the city to have that officer before we hand it over to the school?
It depends on the officer that's filling that position. So
Do you want to just give a basic overview, like an average for an average patrol officer with benefits in a ballpark?
right, so an average patrol officer with benefits is just over $100,000. The first step officer pay is just under $75,000. The new contract takes effect and that raised it up just slightly a little bit. But you're thinking about the school district year is not a full 365 days. So they're getting them for that school year. So they're definitely raising that up because not only the officer's contract gives them more money, the city would have to pay, but the schools are stepping up for that. Another reason why this is a 3-year contract is because every 3 years our officers go through a new union contract. So we'll revisit that and raise that as needed based upon that new union contract. And they understand that that's the purpose of it.
Councilor Crossman, do you have something? Councilor Blair?
Just a kind of general question. Given, as I'm sure you know, I'm sure there's no policies we have. Say that kind of situation happened here. Are our officers expected to go in and do what they can.
Right, our policy stipulates that the officers are required to respond, get on scene as fast as they can. If in fact there's another officer coming soon after, they'll wait for that officer, but if there's not, they go in and terminate the threat the best they can. That's our policy.
That's all I needed to do.
Councilmember Roy.
I would like to move to authorize Mayor DePinto to sign the agreement between Yelm Community Schools and the City of Yelm for the school resource program.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Hess. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief. But you might as well stay up there because item B, First Amendment to Intergovernmental Agreement for Law Enforcement Records Management System.
The Law Enforcement Records Management System is a report management system that we've had since 2009. It's a consortium right now between Olympia, Lacey, Tumwater, Yelm, and Tenino. We share this record management system. Everyone writes reports on the same system. The benefit of that is that we have if somebody is names categorized in the city of Yelm, someone, the officer in Olympia can see that same information. So we're sharing information. They have the access to that report, so it helps on other cases for them. What this is an amendment to the original contract to add Thurston County Sheriff's Department to that consortium. So that again just broadens that spectrum benefit that we would have with them having in there. Their prosecuting attorneys would also have access to this as well, just the ease of flow of getting that information to those folks as well. And we also get the benefit of everyone that they contact. We get all that information and reports as well. So just asking that you approve the fact that Mayor Joe DePinto signs that new amendment to the original contract to allow Thurston County Sheriff's Department to be a part of that consortium.
Questions, Councilmember Hess?
Just wondering, this is Thurston County. Is there already, I'm sure is it like a software program thing that allows you guys to, does it communicate well with other counties as well as with the state? Or is it by itself standalone? And if so, is that the way it is for every county as well as for the state?
No, it wouldn't be. So for instance, Pierce County, unless we go on the same system that Pierce County is using, we would not have that same technology and be able to communicate that information with them. It's only within that consortium of cities. They've selected a different program. And again, we're in the process of trying to find a different company for this new law enforcement report management system. But it would basically just be restricted to the cities and the consortium that's involved with this report management system.
Any other questions? Councilmember Rich?
So if the general public doesn't know which cities, can we just read that off for them so they can have an idea? Like
Olympia, Lacey, Tumwater, Tenino, Yelm, and then we're asking for Thurston County.
right on, just for awareness.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
I'd like to move to authorize Mayor DePinto to sign the First Amendment to Intergovernmental Agreement for Law Enforcement Records Management System.
Councilmember Rothman. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief. All right, moving on to item number 7, old business, and it's scheduled. We're on number 8, updates for departments. I just wanted to let folks know, and I'll do my mayor's one after this, but there are 2 cooling centers in Yelm this week to beat some of that heat. One is the Yelm Senior Center, and they're open from Tuesday to Friday, noon to 8 p.m. And the other is the Yelm Timberland Library, which is open Tuesday and Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Thursdays and Fridays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thank you very much to both those organizations for providing that for our residents here. And also just to let you know, we're very cool here in the City Hall. If you need to cool off real fast, you can come on in and cool down as well to any of the staffed buildings. Other than that, we have our financial federal grant audit. It's expected to be completed next Friday. Everything's going well with that. Don't anticipate any odd findings or anything like that, we will make sure the council is aware of that, of the audit and the findings and all that. And accepting new bids for the water reclamation facility. We're getting a decent amount of bids for this, a lot of bids, and they will be turned in by August 11th. And is it August 11th when it's also opened?
No, August 11th is when they drop their forms off, it's closed.
When's the big presentation where we open it up and everything? Is that on the 11th where we open up publicly?
Yes, that is the 11th, at the same time, 30 minutes after we get the bids, we'll open them all up, it'll be a fun time.
Do you have a date on that and where it's at? Is it here at City Hall?
August 11th, they drop off here by 10 a.m. and then we'll take them down to Public Services Building and we'll open them in the conference room on Zoom live, or you can come in person if you want to see a cool opening and reading of the bids.
Well, this will be a huge bid. I mean, it's gonna be what? Probably 20 to 30
The
million-ish.
biggest the city has ever done as far as I know.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. I guess you could call it historic, but if you want to see it, I've never seen an unveiling like this or the bid process. Actually opening the envelopes and everything. August 11th at
10:30 at Public Services where we'll open them.
Okay.
We have to drop them off here by 10.
for us.
Just because you also stated that would be done on Zoom, can we make sure that that gets published out there for those who?
Absolutely. We will make a note of that and we'll make sure that it's the links up and everything's ready to go for that date. Other than that, a lot of fun weekend events, went well, pretty well attended and a lot of fun. And I'm sure some of y'all will talk more about it, so I won't steal anyone's thunder. All right, starting with council member reports, Councilmember Kaminsky, starting with you.
Okay, well, we just came out of our public services meeting. We talked about some upcoming ideas that will be proposed, mainly a proposed sidewalk project that is very small, linking the park to Cochrane Park. A potential increase of the height limits of buildings to the 60 feet. Creating a new zoning rule for no new residential in commercial C1, 2, and 3 districts. And a special use permit requested for RV business. And so we did all that. And while I'm on that, we are going to be making recommendations next meeting for Public Works. And Chief, I had a question for you. We were talking about potentially putting nice park benches out on the main road because the high school created some gorgeous metal benches that I think would look amazing on the street. But I wanted to ask you if you see this as any kind of public safety issue with regards to people sleeping on the benches or camping on the benches, or do you have any input for that idea?
Well, anyone that's sleeping on the benches, obviously we would move them along, and they can't camp within the city, so we'd move along for that as well. So
I don't want to put undue pressure on your.
it's not gonna matter if they have benches there or not.
It won't? Oh, okay, good,
You'll be okay.
good. Then I'm going to request that. Thank you very much. Might as well check with the boss on those things. The other thing is, I attended the Arts Commission meeting. We were prepping for the event tomorrow night that got canceled due to the heat in the public, the community center. And what else? And I attended the barbecue fest, which was fantastic. So loved it.
Cool.
Yep.
Councilmember Kaminsky, Councilmember Roy.
So to clarify, the arts
Mhm.
is not.
The
happening
Arts
tomorrow.
Commission tomorrow night for the task force is canceled
Okay.
due to no air conditioning and no blinds, no way to cool off.
You have AC in that building?
There is AC in the building. I'm not sure.
To use it as a cooler.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, what is she talking about?
It's 72 in there.
Oh, okay, I better go back and revisit that. We do notice that the direction of the sun in the evening is
Yeah.
extremely difficult. So we said, well, let's just turn around in a different direction. So yes, thank you. I will take care of that. So I don't know if it's on or not.
I attended the Agritourism Advisory Committee. We talked about it's the Bountiful Byway Committee. They showed us a really beautiful video that they've just created for that Bountiful Byway. I would love to see an increase in Yelm businesses being on the byway. We do have a lot that would qualify. So we're gonna do a little bit of work there to get some more involvement. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, next Wednesday, August 8th. It's not even next Wednesday. We're 3 weeks away. August 8th, they're doing the Thurston Byway Corridor Management Plan. It's a public workshop offering an opportunity to learn about the plan, provide input about key byway destinations, experiences, and desired improvements. So that is on August 10th from 5:30 to 7 at the community center. So if you'd like to, any of you would like to attend, would be great to see you. National Night Out is the 2nd of August. Robert, Chief Carlson, is Yelm PD participating in that? I know the sheriff's department will be here.
Yes, we are.
You are as well. Will you tell me a little about that?
Well, it would have been nice to have Officer Moody here because he's organizing all of that. So, but I know that he's getting that organized and getting set up. I just had emergency management contact me today about having him be there as well. So I know that he's in the process of getting that all organized. So I'll have him reach out to you and give you the details when I
Oh, that'd be
see
great.
him. Okay.
And then I saw something pretty neat the other day that's happening, and you may need to correct me. That's happening on the 13th with the Boys and Girls Club of Thurston County, where our very own Mayor DePinto is going up against Wayne Fournier, the mayor in Tenino, in a dunk challenge. Is that happening?
We don't have much for kids.
Sorry. Yeah, the dunk tank
The
challenge.
dunk tank.
Oh, the other.
Now, is it whoever, does the winner get dunked or the loser? Who are we trying to dunk
Yeah,
here?
the way I understand it is the person that raises the most, the other person is dunked.
Is dunked.
So if people want to see me dunked, they'll spend money on my opponent, and if Mayor Fournier, and if they want to see him dunked, they'll donate to me.
Sure.
So,
Okay,
but
so
yeah, feel free either way.
either way, the money is for a great cause.
Yeah,
And that's all I have. Thank you for the clarification on that.
absolutely. It's not a, slam dunk contest. Councilmember Hess.
Yes, with Intercity Transit Authority, lots of good stuff is going on with it. The big thing is that they're truly working on trying to adhere to the Proposition 1 that was passed a few years ago, making sure that they provide the services that they said they would be providing. What's the challenge for them is that their resources, when COVID hit, they were about ready to start reaching that level of resource to be able to provide those services, but then COVID comes, they lost the resources. So they're working on trying to bring their resources back up to that level and be able to do more. So that is something that hopefully will happen. We can have some good news with that. To also talk, to add to the public service meeting, I know that there's a lot of concern from the public, residents, as well as those who live outside the city, in reference to the growth and development that we're looking at trying to promote with raising building size from 35 feet to 60 feet, which adds additional stories, bringing in mixed use so that there's apartments possibility above buildings, and we're just to alleviate some of the fears. Yes, we have a small town community, and when I listen to and read people's concerns about the so-called small town that we're losing, it's they're complaining about the traffic. That is the biggest thing. Please understand that 510 bypass, if I remember correct, the timeline 2023 is supposed to kind of start breaking ground. By 2025, it should be completed. Am I correct on that, Mayor?
I think the timeline's a little sketchy sometimes, but yeah, around there.
No, but that's the last we heard. So with that, that should alleviate a lot of traffic coming through. As we develop our community, we work on our plan to provide from 507 a bypass that goes to 510 as well as 507 on the other side. So that will also alleviate some of the traffic. Just because we are asking for these changes and working on developing these changes for development, it doesn't mean that it happens immediately. It's not that if we approve some more development coming in, that in a year, there's going to be 100 to 200 more kids in the school system. It takes time to build. It takes time. And the longer we wait, the more developers stop looking at Yelm to help us grow and grow properly. So I want to try to alleviate that fear amongst the community members. We are trying to do things, it's not to make money. We're trying to help Yelm develop and grow. And hopefully with some of our growth, we're able to bring in businesses that support Yelm, as well as at some point starts bringing people from Yelm. They just have to stay within town and they can continue to work with a living wage. So for those out there that have that fear, please be aware, we are working on this. It is a process. It doesn't happen immediately. Just because we approve something doesn't mean that the next day there's, as people fear, 100 more cars on the road, 200 more students in the school system, water is no longer available, sewer is overflowing, and whatever else those fears are. So just, I appreciate people being involved in the conversation, but also please work with us. Don't just look at the negative Nancy side of it. Look at the positive that we're trying to do.
That's also just in the central business district too. It's not all of Yelm that would have mixed use.
No, we're looking at for
Commercial
C1,
zones.
C2 having mixed use,
CBD, C1 and C2, not C3.
not C3. And then the other thing I'd like to ask about, I'm just verifying that I'm not missing, yeah. Okay, they are getting onto the calendar. It's just, if we can find a way to announce the various meetings, like the Arts Commission meeting, kind of get it spread out more, so that community members can be more aware of what's going on. So those who are wanting to participate can be there to show up. If we can make sure that we're getting that out more than just on the Yelm website, but other ways of announcing it. I think that'd be really good for you.
Yeah, and we're trying to do that now. We're always posting up here on City Halls when people come in and pay their bills in person. It's up there. We're doing a lot of those meetings on social media, and we will be starting, if we haven't already, monthly updates on all of our meetings on a monthly basis.
But I just think it'd be nice for community members that are trying to follow the Arts Commission to support it, as well as all the other activities that are right here in Yelm that affect people. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Hess. Councilmember Smith.
I had no meetings, but I will be at the Mermaid Festival judging. Don't know what that entails, but
Enjoy that. Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Crossman.
I'll be judging people.
So Monday, I attended the planning commission, so I get a heads up on those proposed code changes before public services meeting, which we had today, which they discussed. So it all went good. And then we have budget meeting coming up soon for Public Works, which I'll be pushing for those sidewalks and other walkability. Make Yelm more walkable so we could get to the park for the festivals that we have, like the barbecue rally, which we just had, which was really big. Well attended. It would be nice if all the different neighborhoods can walk to those instead of trying to find parking. And yeah, like I said, the sidewalk being put into Cochran, which will be nice to walk that. And then I have a question for Chief based on some concerns of citizens about the growing campers across from Walmart. Can you speak to that issue?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
you are probably aware of.
So we're handling that situation. So obviously you can't camp in the city limits of Yelm. We've determined that the property is the city's property. And we're in the process of working with those folks to get them out of there. They're having some difficulty getting those vehicles moved, but we're not going to let it go. We'll continue to move that on because that's something that we're diligent, make sure that we.
Which ordinance are we enforcing that with?
What's that?
Which ordinance are we?
I don't know the exact numbered statute.
Describe what it,
Yeah, basically it's just, you can't camp within the city limits of Yelm.
some of those.
There's stipulations.
Years ago. Cody, was that during when we were on council together?
Yes.
Yeah, so a few years ago, but it was a couple of you council members were maybe on there. Yeah, Councilmember Hess. 910, ordinance 910, excuse me.
Past 3 years ago, if I remember correctly.
Thank you.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
Just along the lines of the meeting, gentlemen, we did learn from our fearless leader of Public Works that when the city does not grow, it dies.
That is true. Yeah, and yeah, very astute comment. Is that it, Councilmember Crossman?
That's it.
Councilmember Richardson?
Yeah, I didn't attend anything, just really busy with barbecue rally, and I tell you, when you have an event like that, it takes multiple people from Cody, leading his team, to Lynn. I mean, you can't make a move in the park without contacting Cody. And when you have an event like that, you want to cause the least amount of damage as possible. Utilize the park well, keep it in a good condition. Even with people that are working that day, Tim, that guy came through and helped us out so many ways. And then even the day of, Mayor was judging barbecue. Hopefully it was a good experience for you.
Good.
And then, there was one time just a couple of officers were on site. And I thought, man, this is such a good community event. Terry was at the beer garden. It's okay. No judgment there. But it's one of those things. It's one
I
of those
won
things.
2 prizes in the draw.
You won? Yeah, you did win.
Pink basket or something.
Nice.
You always win at those things. Anyways, and then you had James Blair was selling stuff there as a vendor. So it just was one of those things that's like really incorporates the community coming together. Something like that can't happen without communication, can't happen without working together. So great leadership on everybody's part there, especially with Lynn and Cody. I don't know if you guys understand how much Cody really has an impact as far as when events happen. There's a lot of stuff there. So for the people listening on, there's a lot of coordination that happens with the city in order to do something like that. But we really do, was fun. We were tired. I got 20,000 steps in on Saturday. I'm sure Cody got more. But yeah, so then, and also when Cody's trying to look busy, he just carries around a rake. So it's good.
Councilmember Richardson is also getting to talk about how much he's done for that event as well, including emceeing it and making sure it runs smoothly.
I just follow the schedule that Shelley makes me, and I look professional.
Thank you, Councilmember Richardson. Councilmember Blair?
Well, Richardson, this guy right here, kind of stole my thunder for that for a second. But to piggyback off Crossman and Richardson, barbecue rally was a good time. And on top of that, in regards to our new neighbors that are around, I think after talking to the mayor and the chief, I think everyone else should really understand there's a difference between helping someone and enabling. And like I said, after talking with them, I don't feel like Yelm is going to be in the business of enabling like some of our neighbor cities have over the last few years. So I think it will be fixed sooner than later, because I'd rather not risk legal trouble for myself if not.
Whatever that might be. Thank you, Councilmember Blair. All right. Thank you, Kathy, for our city clerk, for creating all these council packet or council member handbooks. I don't know if you haven't got it, you should. But she spent a lot of time on that. It's very valuable. Just going over a couple of things, city of Yelm information, other website resources, elected officials, our meeting schedule, the individual committees that you're assigned to. It's very individualized as well on here. It's gives you information about what those committees are and what you're supposed to do and all that stuff. And yeah, so it just uses a resource. Thank you so much, Kathy, for doing it. She spent a lot of time doing it, so thank you.
If anyone has any suggestions for additional items that they would like to have in there, let me know and I'm happy to, we can always add to it.
So thank you again. The budget process, we're still on full effect in that, moving full steam ahead. Thank you to the council members that are talking in your committees, talking to me about what you want in it, want included. Hopefully this budget reflects what you want. And if it doesn't, we could probably get it in there. So let's make sure that you're communicating with myself and your committees that you're on, and hope that your priorities in the budget. Other than that, I think that's about all I got. Enjoy the weather, stay cool, and do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Blair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Good meeting.